Good evening, everyone. My name is Corlette DeVoe, and thank you so much for joining us on this rainy Tuesday evening. Our topic for this evening is
Depends on where you are.
it is raining and thunder and lightning here where I am at. And for those of you that are not, it's not raining where you are.
No,
Enjoy the beautiful, beautiful scenery because it is hurricane season here in the
Thunderstorms around
Bahamas.
my area.
Yes. We have a perfect topic for this evening. The idea for this topic came up was created by Dr. Clarke that I think is just a perfect topic for us, letting go of perfection as a caregiver. Because as we all know, being a caregiver is a very, very difficult task, and we blame ourselves for so many things. So we're going to have Dr. Clarke walk us through and have a robust presentation and discussion tonight about letting go of perfection. Dr. Clarke, would you like to introduce yourself? And I don't know if our other co-host is on the call as well. Dr. Crystal Roll is our other co-host. As you all know, Dr. Roll works 24/7 as a physician at PHA. So she may join us this evening, or she may not. Dr. Clarke?
thank you so much for that, Ms. DeVoe. Good evening, everyone. Again, I am Dr. Theresa Clarke. I am a physician scientist in Alzheimer's research, of which I've been for greater than 15 years. So along with myself and other scientists, we're working on finding a cure for Alzheimer's. So tonight, I want to present to you a short presentation, but it's very powerful on letting go of perfection as a caregiver. Because I know as this journey, as a caregiver, we need to balance, be more resilient and compassionate. So I want to talk to you about letting go of perfection as a caregiver. This is an important part of protecting your well-being, as well as taking care of others. Caregiving is both rewarding and demanding. Many caregivers feel the pressure to do everything that is perfectly correct. But this often leads to guilt as well as frustration and extreme burnout. Caregivers often believe the myth that they always should be perfect. They always should be patient, never feel tired, or even to never make mistakes. They also feel as if they should handle everything alone. These expectations are unrealistic. Perfection is not possibly, or it's not even needed. So caring is unpredictable. Mistakes happen. And what truly matters is compassion, not perfection. Perfection isn't, just back a little bit. We can shift from aiming for perfection of being just simply good enough. It's just good enough. Whatever you do, it's perfectly good enough. This means focusing on what you can realistically do, practicing kindness towards ourselves and knowing good enough is really good enough. Here are practical steps. Set practical goals each day. Take breaks. Ask for and accept help. Celebrate the small wins, no matter how small they are. and forgive yourself quickly when other things don't go as planned. Remember, you don't have to be perfect to be profoundly loved and appreciated. Your loved ones will love you anyway. The love and care you give matter far more than perfection. In closing, caregiving is about love, not perfection. I put a small flyer onto the chat, and there is a small note at the bottom that I would like for you to make this your takeaway. Perfection isn't love. Perfection is patience, presence, and persistence. Your caregiving is deeply matters, even on the days when it's hard. Thank you.
So we want to open it up for discussion. I have a question for you. Dr. Clarke, thank you so much. Very insightful presentation. As you were presenting, I was thinking about my life and about my parents and about being a parent. And if we were all to think about it, do you think you were perfect parents to your children? To those of you that have children, do you think you were the perfect parent to your children? Anyone? Or do you think you just did the best that you could? We want to open it up for discussion. Did you do the best that you could as a parent? Or did you do everything perfectly?
I will start
Christine?
it off. I did the best that I was able to from in raising my two boys. In that we noticed, once we gave birth to our children, when we left the hospital, they didn't give us a manual. I mean, not that they gave it to our parents, but they didn't give us a manual. They didn't give me a manual. They didn't give you a manual.
I didn't get one either.
So you had to do the best of your ability and the way in which you wanted to raise them. You know that for sure from the short presentation that nothing is perfect. But I know for sure that I did enough to raise them to who they are today. And it's the same way with our parents. Our parents didn't have a manual with us either. But they did a fine job in raising us. So now that our loved ones, our parents, are now a little bit older, we don't have a manual for them. So we can only do our best and enough. Perfect.
I think the reason why we are caring for our parents is because our parents did the best that they could with us, and we do appreciate it. So, what Dr. Clarke, this topic this evening is meant to reassure you and to help you to feel just a little bit better, knowing that perfection is not the goal here. Compassion and care is the goal. Do the best you can. I was at an event last week when Dr. Darville said that he has so many people that are dropping their parents off to the hospital and not coming back for them. And he says that he's calling the children and they're not coming back. He cannot get them to come back. So I don't think perfection is expected. I think most parents do their best. And what they want from you as their children is to do your best. but at least try. Don't give up on them, just as they didn't give up on us. So I do want to open it up because this is not, this is a open conversation. We want to give you an opportunity to speak because it is very painful. Sometimes we cry when we can't make it to our mom or our dad in time, or when we can't do something for them. We cry and we feel guilty. And what we're saying to you is, it's okay. Do the best you can. You may not be able to do every single thing that you want to do, but do your best. Can anyone share a situation where they felt guilty because they weren't able to, quote unquote, be perfect or do something that their parents needed? Anyone want to share?
Hello, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Yes. So I was raised in the Caribbean in Jamaica, and I remember leaving home for Montego Bay, the town near to where I was raised, for a better life. And I normally go back home and visit my aunt and my mom. They are the ones who raised me. And I remember going to Montego Bay to live. It was really difficult concerning jobs. I couldn't get a job that was well paid, and I know it was hard on them in the country. And oftentimes when I go back, I'd take little things that they would need, and they would really appreciate it. It doesn't matter how small it was. But I remember one particular week I was going to visit. And I only had my fear, but I still go because I wanted to see them. I didn't see them in a long time. And when I went, I couldn't even take a bread. My aunt, she loved bread so much, and I couldn't even take a bread that week to give to her. And she said to me, "You couldn't bring me a bread." I tell you, I felt so bad. I didn't cry in front of her, but after that I cried, and even after long years after, I still remember it, and I felt so bad. And God knows I didn't have the money to buy the bread. I said to her, "Auntie, I only had my fear," and she said, "Okay, I understand." But I still feel bad, and I'm saying, God, you know my heart, and you know I couldn't even buy this bread to take for my aunt who loves bread so much. So that thing, it stays with me for a long time, and sometimes when I think about it still, I still feel bad, even though it's past and gone and it's years now. But oftentimes we feel like this, and we beat upon ourselves, but we should not, because God knows everything, and He is the only one that is perfect. We are not perfect. Even though He asks us to be perfect as He is perfect in Matthew 5 verse 41, but we will never know when we reach that perfection level. All we have to do is to just do our best, and God will do the rest. That's all I have to say this
We
evening.
love that so much, Christine. Do our
Thank
best
you.
and God will do the rest. 100%.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Anyone else?
Thank you so much.
There's a church that I go to when I'm in Florida, and the slogan says, "No perfect people allowed." We have to give ourselves a break and not hold ourselves to perfection. We're not perfect. There's no one on this earth that's perfect. Do the best you can and continue to love your family members. But because without your support and your love, there's not going to be anyone to help them through the remainder of their lives. Can you share with Dr. Clarke, is there anything else you want to ask, or any other comments?
The last slide that I showed, that app, what are some of the examples of ways in which individuals on the call tonight can be kinder to themselves? What are some of the examples that they can give or do to be a little bit kinder to themselves? Is there anything that you would like to share with us on that? You would like to do to be a little bit kinder, a little bit more patient? Yes, I had a nice picture of going to the spa. Yeah, you can do that too. Anywhere where it would give you some relief, spending just a little bit more time with yourself. And I want you to keep in mind that, like I said, perfection isn't love. It's the presence, the patience, and the persistence is love. Our loved ones would love to have or to always be in our presence. For there are times when we have our loved ones will follow us, everywhere as we walk around the house, and taking walks on the outside of the house, on the lawn or something. And they are not too far away. They're very close. It's because they want to be in your presence. As simple as that, just to be in your presence. So that comes along with your patience and your persistence to love. So we can substitute the word perfection, which starts with a P, for present, being present, patient, as well as persistent. So do we have any others who would like to share with us some of the kindness that you would do towards yourself this week that you probably have not done within the past? Dr. Mark, I see that you're on with us. How are you?
Good evening. I am doing well. I am doing well.
So good
Happy to
see
be here.
you. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. I did have something to share as it related to your previous question about was it parenting? It had to do with caregiving and then parenting, but I was thinking about the notion of how I learned. So I'm not caregiving for somebody living with dementia, although my parents thankfully are still with me and they're both in their 80s. And I think about how I had the good fortune of watching my mom care for her mom who lived with cancer and how impactful that was for me watching her care for her mom. And so now, as we raise teenagers, and I think about right, my husband and I get older, I think about how our teenagers are observing now how we care for my parents. My husband's parents are no longer with us. Um, but I think what we learn, right, from the way we see others care for older adults, other loved ones in our families, and whether that's good or bad, right? So we have sometimes positive examples and sometimes not so positive examples. But what I believe it does is that it helps us to frame how we want to care and how we want to be cared for. And yeah, that old adage about, you give good and you will receive good. And that's whether or not it's, from your own children or other people who will just be put in place when the time comes when we would need care, right? Because Lady Rosalind Carter, the late Lady Rosalind Carter, talks about those 4 groups of people in the world that, the categories we all fall into. And help me with this if I miss any. Those of us who are currently caregiving, those of us who were caregivers in the past, those of us who will need caregivers, and I'm blanking on the 4th one. Those of us who, gosh, I'll have to look it up. But the 4 groups of people in the world, and we all fall into those category. I'll look it up and I'll put it in the chat. But I just think about how important it is that, we have these opportunities throughout our lifespan to learn from others in our families, in our circles, neighbors and friends, about how they care for their loved ones as they go into older adulthood, or for whatever reason they're caring for them. And it influences how we care for our own.
Thank you so much for sharing that. In fact, that's where the manual comes in, to tell you the truth. The manual that we think we may not have. But we've been gathering the notes all along as we watch our parents, how they took care of their loved ones. And then our children are now watching us, which is so true. Yes. We talk about, in the presentation, we talked about celebrating the small wins. The small wins in terms of if you were able to get your loved one to eat the green peas that you were trying to get her to eat for the last 6 weeks or so. So with all the caregivers on tonight, can you tell or share with us some of those small wins or winnings that happened in the last 2 weeks that just made you smile and just appreciated the fact that your loved one was able to finally do that one thing that you wanted them to do? Is there anyone who want to share some of those winnings or short wins with us? Small wins?
Okay, well, my mom, as I don't know if you all remember, I told you she was spitting a lot.
Yeah.
Well, the spitting has stopped. Well, thank God for that. But
Yes.
to thank God for small mercies. She holds now the spit or the saliva in her mouth, but what I do, I use a suction. I bought a suction cup from Amazon and I use it to get the saliva out of her mouth, and that really works and it helps. So it is not so bad as before, and I thank God for that. And finally, thank God, we finally got a doctor. She'll be coming sometime this week to check her, and she will be her primary care doctor as of now, because we've done the paperwork and everything, and that part of it is settled. So she'll be coming sometime this week to check on her. I'm not sure how often it will be done, but I'm happy that this will be done. So when she comes, we will know, and I thank God for that, and I thank you all for this forum, and I pray that you'll continue to trust God, because He is the one who wakes us up, put us to sleep, provide for us, give us all that we need. And once we trust in Him, He will just carry us through. Yes. Thank you all.
Thank you. For those of you that are in the Bahamas, how many of you are going to the caregiver support? I think it's a caregiver seminar on Saturday. Are any of you going to that? Caregiver conference?
Yeah, I'm planning on going. I mean,
Yeah.
I would like to go
Yeah, I'm
once I get
planning.
ready.
I'd like to go. I'd like to attend as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Please share that information. So anyone that you know that's out there that is a caregiver, please encourage them to go to that conference. Again, that's another resource, another avenue of support for you. Anything that you can do to get support, just to have another outlet for you to come. This is your time. This is your self-care moments. Take them, no matter how small they are. I have a question for you all. Besides this caregiver group that we have once a month, what are one or two simple self-care things that you do for yourself throughout the month?
I have gone back to exercising. I try to work out at least 3 to 5 mornings out of the week. I do it very early in the morning because that's the best time for me. I would like to get back into doing my own meal prep, but I guess this is just baby steps. It took me a while to get back to exercising because I've been feeling tired all the time. And I realized that the only way that I could get rid of that tiredness was to exercise, but I wasn't making the time for it. So the person who I used to exercise with many years ago, I thought that they had moved away, but I found out that they were still here. So at least I am much more consistent with getting up in the morning and exercising. I've also at least once a month try to get things like nails or some spa service done so I could feel human again. But that's what I've been doing so far.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, Monique. Does anyone else have anything else that they would like to share? What else are you doing to show yourself self-care and love? You mean nobody else is doing anything for self?
Yes, of course.
Y'all, we got a problem. If y'all are not doing self-care, that is a concern. Because Dr. Clarke and I know that self-care is incredibly important, y'all. Because if you stay stressed and you don't care for yourselves, you're not going to be able to care fully for your loved one. We need y'all. We
Okay,
need
so
y'all. Me.
can you go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead, Christine. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I exercise. I do 3 days for the week, Wednesdays to Friday, I exercise. I do my best to eat a healthy diet. I try to go to bed as early as I can.
Mhm.
And once like twice, well, every year I'll go on a vacation like 2 weeks or a week. This week it was only a week I went. I went away for some time and it was very, very good. It was different from what I normally do. And I also in the mornings when I wake up, I must do this. I have my personal worship. I spend time with God because if I don't, my day is not how it is supposed to be. So I spend time with God as much as I can. And sometimes once a week, I will go out like to do shopping or, things like that, to go to the park, spend some alone time. And I like to watch like comedies or something on YouTube that will make me laugh because I love to laugh and I love to watch things like those. So those are the things that I do.
That's fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Anyone else want to share? By sharing, even if you do the exact same thing that Monique said and Christine said, just telling us what you do is relief, will actually help you feel good. So please open up and share because I know that all of you here are caregivers and you all have something that's bottled up inside. Just talking helps. We encourage you to share, open up. We know it's a difficult road. We've all been through this. Teresa's mom passed away a few years ago. This month is the 4-year anniversary of my mother's passing. And on the 24th of this month, I'm having a memorial for my mother. We've all been down this path. We know it's very painful. We are here to help. And talking is one way to help you to feel better, to be a better caregiver, and to relieve stress. Okay, let me ask this question.
Yes, can I piggyback off what you just said?
Certainly, Dr. Clarke.
You know, as caregivers, you know, you want to treat yourself the same way you treat your loved one. You give love, passion every day. We just want you to give that back to yourself. That same kindness that you're giving, we would like for you to give that back to yourself. It's important to rest, and it's not a weakness when you do so. It's important that you do, because it's a strength in doing so. Remember that you cannot pour from an empty cup. There's nothing in that cup. So you have to replenish, refill, restore that cup in order to continue to pour into your loved one. That's what I want to know.
How comfortable are you asking for help? And if you're not comfortable asking for help, what holds you back from asking for help when you need it? Anyone?
I think for me, it's not so much the fear of asking for help. It is not knowing if you're gonna really get the help that you need. What I mean is, you can ask some people to help out, but you do not know if their heart is really into it to really render the type of help that is needed. Sometimes, like take for instance, in dealing with my mom, it's just me and my sister really. And if we ask somebody to help, like, stay with her, so that we could run an errand or something like that, we feel as if, we have to get back as quickly as possible, because you don't know if mom is going to feel comfortable with the person, or you don't know if the person is really going to feel comfortable being there with her. So that is what I mean when I said you don't know whether or not their heart is really there. And the only thing that you can really do is just continue to go through it until you can feel either comfortable enough to allow that person to help, or realize that, well, this person would not be a good fit for this type of help. You just have to go through it. But you don't want to deal with any adverse effects that can result while you try to figure that out. And so that can hinder me or my sister from having anybody come to help us.
Monique, let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
Is it that you are expecting perfection with the person that is coming to help with your mother? Is it that, let me just add, I'm going to ask a series of questions, and some of them are rhetorical.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that you are expecting perfection? Is it that no one is good enough for your mom? Also, do you have children? Because I am a parent, and I'm sure most parents feel this way. When you have your baby and your baby is 3 months old, and dear God, you have to go back to work, no one is ever going to love that baby as much as you love that baby. And we cry when we drop our babies off to the daycare. We cry and we do it because we know we have to go to work or we're not going to have a job. Think about it like that, because no one is ever going to love your parents like you do. No one. You're the
I don't
sister,
think it
right?
is so much, I don't think that it is so much as you, expecting perfection or thinking that someone isn't good enough to help.
Okay.
I think that, you can tell a person that, mom is going through X, Y, Z, but until they really experience that, um, and it's something to just can't tell people, they have to experience it for themselves. And until they experience it for themselves and you get to that comfort level that, they're okay with this. They understand what is going on. They may be a bit squeamish or whatever, but they still, their heart is still in it to help. I think it
Mhm.
is more of that than anything else. I'm not looking for perfection.
Okay.
I'm just looking for sometimes some breathing room so that I can run a few errands,
Mhm.
and feel comfortable that whoever is staying there with mom, that they're comfortable enough to be with her, not too squirmish, but just comfortable enough to be with her and to be able to help her.
Mhm.
And I don't have any children,
Mm.
so I don't know that aspect of it, but it is not a matter of perfection or I just want the comfort level of feeling that whoever is trying to help out is comfortable enough to do what needs to be done. They're comfortable enough to be able to help out. They're not that squirmish.
Mhm.
They're not trying to appease to say that, okay, we come in to help, but when you're not out of the corner yet, they starting to call you to know, how much longer you're gonna be or whatever. If that
Then
makes
maybe that, yeah, Monique, and that happens because I've had that happen before. Maybe that person you're calling is not the right person, right?
right.
And this
But
is why
you don't know that until something comes up.
that's correct. That's correct. And you know what, and don't, maybe that's where you may have to hire one of those um, home care agencies to relieve you that may be more experienced and maybe an expert. I'm actually, going through this right now, Monique, with my mother-in-law. I think I mentioned this before, that she fell and broke a hip about a year ago, and she has not been the same since. She's now in 24-hour care. And so it is extremely expensive to care for someone 24/7. We know that. So, but there are aides out there. If you and your sister have to go out, maybe see if you can hire an aide for a couple of hours. You might have to pay for it, but at least you will get that reprieve. Because when you're out and somebody is calling you, you're really now still stressed.
Yeah, because you still
Yeah,
haven't got
it's
to do
very
what all you
stressful.
need to do, and you worry about getting
Exactly.
back and
You're
everything else.
stressed out trying to rush to get back.
And
Yeah, that's a lot.
but fortunately for mom, she likes being out and everything else, but I would like to go in the food store, just run in and get my stuff
Right.
rather than taking a leisurely stroll with her, picking up this and, instead of it being 15 minutes inside there, you're inside there for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
That is what I'm trying to avoid.
I
And
understand.
so you're asking people to help, just even if you could just sit in the car with her, for right now, or y'all go over there and get some ice cream while I run inside here and get, these few items or whatever the case is, so we are fortunate, whereas mom still likes to be out. She is very engaging. She was just on one of the rafts on the Baja Bay in the Lazy River on Sunday
Okay,
before last,
okay.
and had the lifeguards helping her get in and out of the raft and everything else. And I'm like, oh God, no,
That's
but
fantastic.
so she's okay in that regard. It's just that when you need to do things, to do quick errands, you just want to you just want to take a nap and make sure that she would be okay. Um, because she isn't doing anything to cause any harm to herself or anything of that nature there. So it is that kind of thing. But I do realize that some persons, they have much more challenges than what I probably have. But that is the kind of thing that that is of great concern to me, just to try to get that help. Like I said, it doesn't even have to be very long, maybe for an hour tops or so, just to get some errands done or whatever, you
Mhm.
know, but
I don't know if they have a home companion or a home health agency in your area where you can probably just have somebody come for 1 or 2 hours. And even though you just want to run around the corner, maybe you should consider having that person come for 2 hours. So one, you can run around the corner and run your errands, but
Mhm.
two, you can take that extra hour to sit in the car and do whatever you want to do, just be you. Because
And
that's the relief and that you need to rejuvenate yourself so that you can be the best that you can be for your parents. So think about that. That might be an option for you.
and another thing would be, her comfort level of being around other people. I think that she's just so used to having us around all the time
Mhm.
that to have her be around someone that she is not that familiar with. And we're trying to engage other persons to hang out with us so that she can get a bit comfortable with them. And we would be able to know, well, if we just have to go to the food store, she'll feel comfortable staying with the person while we go in and run in and get whatever we need, rather than have them come to the house and stay there with her there in the house. So it's a lot, and it is just a bit challenging. Your mind just keeps going. It doesn't get any rest. You're always trying to be proactive. You're always trying to figure this out, or to try to make things easier for everybody, and including yourself and including mom. So it's just a lot that you have to go through. It's a lot of trial and error that you have to go through before you're able to feel comfortable with something or with someone, until something changes and then you have to go back to the drawing board. So that's a challenge that I have.
Thank you so much for sharing your challenge, and we are here as a support for you. If you are not in our support group, please drop your name and WhatsApp number in the chat, and Dr. Clarke will add you to our group. Does anyone else, thank you so much, Monique, for sharing that. Does anyone else want to share?
Hi, Carlette.
Hi, hi. Hi
Hey.
there.
Yeah, I was saying it's so, important to have a good family support system. Because I mean, in my case with our mom, well, she's 87 years now, and she has moderate plus dementia, but still able to get around and stuff. But she needs some watching constantly, because she gets into mischief very quickly. But it's so, yeah, that family support is so, so important, because right now, like during the week, she's with my youngest sister, and we have a caregiver there during the day. And me and my other sister alternate weekends, and then like in terms of say like, slipping out to church. Okay, sometimes like if she would get up, not the normal routine is that, okay, she would get up, clean her up, hydrate her, what have you, and then she'd go back to bed. You put on a little Anglican hymns and what have you, and she's good. Other time she's not going back to sleep. So yeah, we're gonna have to find like a later church service to attend, maybe at another Anglican church. But say like on those days when I am able to slip out, my husband, would be home, you know, just in case anything stirs up, you know, while she's sleeping. So I'm able to, you know, go at a pretty good pace at church, stop in and check in with my dad, you know, to help out with anything, you know, at the homestead, and then get back in good time. And I said now, but my daughter, she's home for several months until she gets sorted out to go back to the States, but she's an occupational therapist. So that's a big help, of course, you know. But I would say, like, in general terms, like with caregiving, even if you need somebody to, you know, to stay for a couple hours or what have you, it's good to, I mean, have a, I guess, a good heart to heart with the caregiver or what have you, to, you know, tell them the quirks and stuff of your person, and basically to give them a general idea of their, you know, their likes, like their history, how, like how my mom was an educator for 47 years, so that they can, you know, like strike up a conversation that would, you know, that would hold their interest and be able to, you know, make them gel a little bit more. And even if it's a case like where you're able to have that caregiver or person come into the home, you know, with your person while you were there, so that they can get acclimatized while you were there, you know, to just to ease the process. I think that would help, so that you wouldn't feel so, you know, like jittery about leaving them with the person, you know, on their own. But, you know, you'd be able to kind of smooth the path somewhat, you know, with getting familiar, you know, with the person, and with your person's you know, likes and dislikes and comfort level. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Clarke.
I agree with you totally, Ms. Thompson. Thank you so much for that. With Monique, with you in mind, that you mentioned that having somebody around that your mom possibly can get used to, and eventually you can, you know, leave your mother in care of this person. It's an excellent idea. For it's more or less you're training the person, one, to see the reaction your mom has towards this person in your presence. So if they can spend some time when you are at home with your mom, then you're able to see both the reaction of your mom and the caregiver at the same time. And the caregiver will also see how you interact with your mom, ways in which you would do things. So it will be a trial run, so that when you do have to run off and you're needing her services, then your mom is used to her, and she knows what to expect from you as well, because you basically gave her training on the job. So that's one way of getting someone used to your mom being around and what this caregiver expects as well, you know, as to how you do things and how you handle things. And I think you will be more comfortable in while you're out shopping, instead of worrying about what is happening or what may happen or something like that.
Yeah,
So
well, right now we do have someone, it's not as if they're around every single day,
Mhm.
because they also work. But when they're with us, and you know, they usually be out with us with mom and everything else. So, you know, but for them to be left alone with them, that is where that is a practice that they really would need, because they have observed mom quite a bit, and they're very patient with her and everything else. But still, um, you know, when you get back, you could sense, you know, that they've been through a lot. And it is whether it's just asking the questions as to when we're gonna hurry up and come back or whatever the case may be. So it's just a matter of, I guess, more time that is needed for them to feel a little bit more comfortable with mom, being around mom. I think it was more that than anything else.
And it all takes time,
Yeah, a lot of time.
a lot,
Mhm.
and patience. And a lot of individuals, have not had that opportunity to spend with, the older population. Some may not have. So, it's a learning process, like we
Yeah.
have to learn, our parents as well. So it's a learning process for them, but everything takes time, and I'm sure that she will understand. Mhm.
Yeah.
Our topic tonight is letting go of perfection. Do we have any other comments, questions? Is there anything that's on your mind that you want to talk about? We want to open up the floor for discussion, whatever you want to talk about it before we wrap up. Anything on your mind?
I just
Good
like to
evening.
oh, sorry.
Go
Good
ahead.
evening.
Good
Good
evening.
I am a first-time listener. I'm a cousin to the young lady that spoke first. I was introduced to this forum by her sister. And I just need to know if there's a phone number that is available, that if you want to call and ask some questions, if some number is available to call, please.
Good question, Ms. Victoria. The group, this is a group of volunteers, myself,
Uh-huh.
Dr. Clarke as co-host, along with Dr. Crystal Rowe, who is a geriatric physician at the
Uh-huh.
hospital. We do have a support group. If
Yes.
you don't mind, drop your phone number in the chat. Dr. Clarke has done a phenomenal job of adding people to the chat and addressing and answering questions. I can't speak
Mm-hmm.
for Dr. Clarke, but I do know, don't tell her that I'm telling you this, I do know that Dr. Clarke has called people individually to provide
Right.
assistance. She
Right.
is a specialist in Alzheimer's, period. So you have
Mm-hmm.
the expert on the call. So, Dr. Clarke, is there anything else you want to add?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. Victoria,
Yes.
if you can, I can probably get your number and I can add you to the group.
Oh, certainly. Do you want me to tell you now?
I'll get it from Christine.
Christine.
I-
Christine. Yes, please.
I'll get it.
Yes.
Yes, I'll
Hi,
get it.
Christine.
Hi, Vicky. Nice to have you here.
Or you
Yes.
can
Thank you.
drop it in the chat if you would like, whatever you're comfortable with.
All right. And
Yes, so she'll do that for me, please, because I'm not very savvy at this stuff. So
Okay.
she'll know
Let me
what to
do
do
it.
for me, please.
Okay.
I
Yes, I
appreciate
will.
you.
don't
I will.
forget,
I
tonight's
will.
Thank
talk
you very
was,
much. I appreciate.
you're
Oh,
so
thank
welcome.
you for
Tonight's
being on.
talk was about, you don't have to be perfect, remember?
Perfect, yes.
Repeat.
Tonight's talk was on the fact that you did not have to be perfect. So you're not the only one who's not savvy. We're not
Okay.
technical.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
So not to
Yes.
worry. You are in great hands.
Yes, and in great company.
Right now, I'm
Um,
trying to figure out how to mute myself back, and I don't know. I'm not seeing how to figure that out yet.
It's okay. Just don't say anything.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I see that Karen has her hand raised, but I also know that Lynette, you wanted to say something earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just mentioning something. Like I noticed like on some days, like I mean my mom, yeah, like the clarity of thinking is like really off. And I mean, like from I guess years of being an educator for 47 years, And now to see her not able to identify simple things, it's really something. Like she would just call out like random names or the random names of things, that has nothing to do with what she's actually referring to. And I don't know if there's like if there are any like natural like remedies that can um aid her in that area, because it's really, she would, it's like out of sight when like the thing she calls, and it's like totally unrelated to to what she's actually referring to, you know and I don't know, sometimes it seems as if I don't know, like she sees things that I don't see. Like it would be like an inanimate object, and it's like, do you see that a man standing there? And so I was like, no, where is he? He's right there. I said, okay. So I just go with the flow, but it's really kind of distressing sometimes.
Yeah, that is, it's part of the disease itself
Mm-hmm.
with the hallucination.
Right.
And not everybody with Alzheimer's, I don't know the type of dementia your mom has, but
Mm-hmm.
not everybody would experience it because it will come in and if they do, it comes in a phase.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 7 phases of Alzheimer's disease. And her being an educator for 47 plus years, I am sure if you were to take her back 30 years, she probably can tell you every story and give you the specific details on everything that happened many years ago. But because her long-term memory is still intact. It's the
Right.
short-term memory that's not there.
Right.
At times, the short-term memory try to kick in,
Mm-hmm.
so it will come with a few words. It may not come
Right.
a full sentence. It will just come with a few words because she's trying to recall those.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever, if you're able to understand the word that she's saying, then you can assist her with that word, and
Right.
just start a
Yeah.
conversation.
I'll try to identify, what you were saying. Now, I said the strange thing is that let's say in terms of speech and saying things properly, now that part of our brain that is still on tap, because even like when we're in church, and if the priest is speaking in dialect, she's going to be right there correcting it. Not tree, it's three. And yeah, that part of her brain is still ticking, but it's just like being able to identify like, simple items or animals or what have you. Yeah, that part is off. But as I say, when I can see when the teacher in her, still, picks up. Yeah, she's correcting straight through.
Yeah, which is good.
Yes.
Which is good. Yeah.
Lynette, is that your name?
Yes, it is.
My name is Monique.
Hi.
Yeah, my mom is similar to your mom. You're Anglican, we're Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was teaching for 46 years.
Right.
And what I found, I do not know a whole lot about your mom, but what I find with mom is that whenever any of the Catholic parishes have a fair or something, when she attends those fairs and she sees people that she haven't seen for quite some time, they're able to engage in those stories from way back then, and she does not seem as if she has any type of dementia there.
Wow. Wow.
You
That's
know, so
awesome.
she's seeing people who she haven't seen for 20, 30, 40 years probably.
Mm-hmm.
And she is going to be 88 in November.
Oops. Well, wow. Same. Yeah, my mom is the exact same age.
Mm-hmm.
Exact.
You know,
Birthday
so
November as well. Yes.
but seeing that she is involved, your mom is involved with the church and all of that, there may be attending some of the different church fairs and stuff that might that might be of some help to her. I don't know. I know it is for my mom.
Okay. Yeah. Because
You know?
because it seems that, okay, like in terms of like, say, recognizing persons and stuff, no,
Uh-huh.
that isn't her. But
Okay.
I said, even though she was never always like a regular churchgoer,
Okay.
I was like say when I put on there's an an Anglican program that comes on Sundays.
Uh-huh.
And when I put that on, I said, well, I'm a lay minister in the Anglican church, and
Mm.
I said when I hear her singing, I see she's singing verses of some hymns that I don't even know. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
wow, you know?
And I live in
Yeah.
Coral Harbor, and if we are going to either St. Francis Cathedral or St. Cecilia's or Sacred Heart, we would
Mhm.
pray the rosary from Coral Harbor until we get to whatever parish we're going to. And sometimes I let her lead the decades of the rosary, and she does it quite fine.
Mhm. Mhm.
So those old things from way back when,
Yes.
you know, we try to engage her in a lot of those things there. But like I said, when she went to St. Joseph's Fair a few months ago, she had the time of her life.
Mhm.
She saw people that she hadn't seen for quite some time, and she was able to sit down and engage in conversation with them and asking them about certain people. Of course, some persons might have passed away,
Right,
but
right.
you know, she was still able to engage in conversations and talk about things that happened in the schools um, 30, 40 years ago. You
Mhm.
know, she was able to do all of that there.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's because as I said, my mom like she can't remember she because basically she started off teaching at Shirley Primary, then she went to
Uh-huh.
Stephen Dillett, then to Yellow Elder Primary. But like
Mhm.
memories of the schools themselves,
Uh-huh.
they are gone. But like
Okay.
at one point she was like when she was still at the homestead with my dad,
Uh,
and well, of course she's being retired years and years, but she was like, of course I can't stay home tomorrow. I have to go and teach my children,
mhm.
that kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah, she always talking about the children. And we said,
yes,
what children you talking about? You know,
right,
so yeah, I understand.
yes,
I understand.
Excellent. Maybe you two can get together. Look, four of
yes,
you can get
it is.
That'd be nice. Oh goodness.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
I know, Karen, you had your hand raised. Thank you so much for the engagement and the conversation, Monique and Lynette.
Sure.
We love it. We love it. Okay, Ms. Karen, I see you have your hand raised. Thank you for your patience. Yes, please
Oh,
share
no
your.
problem. No problem. Absolutely. I just want to say that in addition, we need to get Lynette and Monique's mom, I think, both of their moms together too. I mean, this time is so fitting. It's back to school season. Oh, it was wonderful to hear the exchange. I was gonna just ask Victoria because of your comment earlier regarding like a number that you can call to be able to get advice or help. Do you mind sharing if you are in the United States by chance, Victoria?
I'm speaking for her. Yes, she's in the United States.
Okay. So thank you for that. Um, I don't know if she is aware, but another resource could be the Alzheimer's Association 24-hour hotline. It's accessible. It's a 1-800 number. I'll put it in the chat if you could get it to her. But you can just,
Great.
also Google it. But you can call at any hour and get somebody on the line
That's
as
great.
well. So just another option.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that as well. And Dr. Moss, you have placed the 4 kinds of people, and I'm going to share it with the rest of the group. The 4 kinds of people: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, and those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. So that's the 4 types of caregivers. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Moore. And it's just so so fitting. And at some point, we would become one or maybe two of those. Thank you so much for that.
I'll just add that I cannot take credit for those. Those were the words of the late Lady Rosalind Carter, Jimmy Carter's late wife. But I think it's absolutely true.
Very,
Yes,
very fitting.
we thank her for that too, as well. Okay. And
Thank you so
also,
much.
those of you who are in the chat group, there is a handout that I made for you. I don't know if you had the opportunity to see it, but it's entitled Letting Go of Perfection as a Caregiver. So hopefully you would have the chance to review it and to review it when you need it. All right. So some of the highlights is no one can do everything right all the time. So striving for perfection can lead to burned out and guilt. What happens most that we need for our loved ones are love, safety, and your presence. So remember, as a note to yourself, perfection isn't love. It's present or your presence, patience, and persistence are love. So we would substitute that word perfection for presence, patience, and persistence. That's perfection. In closing.